It's a beautiful day. Another beautiful day.
Nathan, how you doing?
Hey, I think I'm trying to figure out this whole link. I'm getting there with my skills, so I'm figuring out this whole link to the YouTube channel thing. So I think we are simultaneously live through the new Warp specific YouTube channel. So we'll get that link going too. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited.
The inaugural video.
Look at you go.
I think I did it.
Yeah, it worked. You're all good. I even got the check mark on my side.
Oh, you see it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, we're good.
We're
good.
Official. All right. So, how are we doing? We're out of the 4 or 5 days of red that we hadn't had in maybe a whole month, 2 whole months, which I don't know. I guess people forgot about. There are red days in crypto. There are.
There will be blood. Absolutely. It's you almost forget because we've been like doing so gnarly since day 280 that you almost forget what a real red day is. Because everyone has those like -2, -3, -6% days, but when you have like that -40% day, then you're like, yes, it's crypto doing crypto things. Fantastic, love to see it. That just means participation, though, to me. People are participating, whether it's selling or buying. If you have no one doing anything and it's just remaining stagnant, that's where at least me, that's where I get a little nervous. I'm like, okay, where's the juice? Where's the action? But when you see everything go down, you can see some things go down 75%, 60%, 60%, 50%. You see other, we won't name them, but other people are talking trash, you know what I mean? Coming out of the woodwork. And then the very next day, Morpheus, 100-something%. Alien X, 100%. This one, 80%, 70%, up. And then it's like, okay, cool. The next day, everything's up 40%, 40%, 25%. I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's fucking go. Let's go. But yeah, it is a tornado of emotions, dude. When you see your portfolio go from here to here to here to here again, you're just like, oh God. But yeah, it's a good time. Having a good time with it.
You
wouldn't have it any other way.
It's also great when you're watching some well, when you're like a couple days out of a miner coming out on something like, I don't know, maybe like Hydra or something, and you're watching, and now it gets fun because you're it gets fun a little bit nerve wracking, right? Because you're like, just stay right here, until for like, I don't know, 10 more hours maybe.
yeah, we've all been there,
but it looks good. Looks good right now.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited.
I'm looking at these memes that were going nuts a couple of days ago. Remember, there was like 2 or 3 days everyone's like focused on these memes that are going yard. Bro, these things are all down 40% right now. And I was like, I hope that no one sold the bottom and then went to go chase those.
Yep.
I hope that, I know people did for sure, but at the same time, like, oh God, I don't want to see that. Yeah,
my favorite thing is how you start questioning things a little bit, but then you watch even when like ETH can drop, right? But then that's I don't know why. Why is that when we're just like
yeah, that ETH is going like this, and we're like, nope.
No, we're gonna pull back a little bit.
I know like the proof of the rule in crypto that whatever you think is going to happen.
Right.
Like, everyone's like, but 280, we're going to dump. 369, we're going to pump. like the opposite of everything.
And you have all the experts being like, we're gonna dip hard. Get that ETH ready for day 280 because just hold off. It's like, no, you had to obviously front run that thing to catch that. And there was no going back after
what are you doing in the chat? Come on.
He has a 5-year-old that's down hard with a fever. Down. He's with like 4 kids by himself. I gave him a pass.
Okay.
And one of them is like super sick.
Okay, 4 kids gets you 4 passes. You get 4 passes for the bull run. This is one of them. You get
Hey,
3 left.
ask Mello to put in chat how old his oldest kid is. You're gonna freak
I don't
out.
want to know. It's gonna probably make me cry.
18 is the answer.
How's that? Wow.
Oh, his oldest is 18.
His oldest, yeah. Mello's 32.
I was thinking you were saying his youngest was 18.
Let's do some
I'm
math.
like,
Mello,
what are we
dude,
talking about here?
bro? Mello was in like 8th grade in gym
Yeah,
class.
he's banging
just
him out. He's banging
just
him out. Yeah,
fucking-
no, I got
let's
you.
go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every
It's
time I
okay.
see some
It's okay to be
some
talking
dude
about
with like
this.
fucking 10 kids, like, man, that old man's just banging him out with his wife. Like,
Oh
just
man.
more power to him. Love it. Absolutely.
I like your
Meanwhile, I
background
had
though.
Yeah,
Hey,
Mo, that
it's
background.
inspired
That's,
by you guys. Look, it's
man, that's beautiful,
Long
man.
way.
Uh,
I'm I'm going warp speed towards the moon. Let's
Yeah.
go.
I love it. I
Okay,
love
it
it.
doesn't mean I slam into it. But
and
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I had a boss that used to interrupt every good story that you ever had. You'd be like, yeah, we were down on 6th Street, last night. We probably hit like 7 bars. And he'd be like, yeah, don't have kids. He would just like interrupt everything you would say. You'll never have those moments again. Don't have kids. It was amazing. We went down to the beach. It was fucking great. Don't have kids. Like, just don't. Any good story you ever had. Man, we got the best barbecue downtown. Don't have fucking kids.
A person at the party gets drunk and their arms around, and you're like, I like you. I like you a lot. Just don't have kids. Don't ever.
Ever.
Batman voice comes out. Yeah.
Just brood and pain. Years of pain. No, absolutely. All right. Hey, I derailed that one in record time. We weren't even 10 minutes into that, and I derailed that. All right, there we go. Mello, that was your fault. I'm blaming you.
Blaming Mello, dude. 100%.
I gave you a pass, and I'm taking it back away. You don't get that pass anymore.
My shrimpy is here.
All right. Gentlemen, you guys have made some recent changes. For those that haven't watched the last stream you did, or maybe haven't caught some posts, do you want to talk about the little tweak that you've made in Warp?
So
go for it, Nathan.
20 new inputs. It's going to be, there's just one token per input up for auction every day.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. So we are officially, we are making the shift to X28. Wait, did I just miss something? Oh, hello.
No, you're good. If I need to pick my nose, I'm going to go off camera. That's
yeah. we have officially made the shift to X28 as an input for the auctions. Other than getting involved in one of the Titan X Tink pools through the Tink input, which we can get into, there's not going to be any instance of Titan X, even though we will be indirectly helping the Titan X burn through the X28 input, which is going to be really cool because now you have, not only do you have that level of looking at the arbitrage as to where the ROI is going to be on any particular day, you get to watch that X28 one now. And if you want to get into that, you know what you're going to have to do to get that X28 in your wallet. Got to transform, and so you can get in that auction. And then the other game theory on top of that is, when are you going to auction? In the first 12 hours or the second half, the last 12 hours of an auction day, to when you're going to be getting access to your tokens to claim the next day.
You want to go over that just one more time for people that
Yeah.
Look, the way I look at it is every stream you might have 2 or 3 people that didn't watch any previous stream. So even though it is redundant, we talk about the same stuff.
No, it's all good.
Let's like just go over the minting phase and the separation of when you can claim.
So we are, I don't know. I think we might be one of the fastest mints, unless somebody else comes out with we're doing a 3-day mint, something like that. But we're a 7-day mint, so we want to be on the path to hyperdeflation within a week.
Can I
so
stop you there?
Yeah. What is somebody doing? Is that
There
happening?
is going to possibly be something that is so fast. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's like a bonkers, like, possibly things going down every 8 minutes type of a situation.
Oh,
Oh.
the degen in me likes that a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. I didn't mean to derail that, but you were like, yeah, I think we're going to be the fastest. Bro, like the most crazy degen thing possible might be coming out.
I love it.
don't know. But
I'm
we'll
all
see.
about it. Get
Yeah.
in now.
That
But
next week, and then next week,
Very-
the warp stream is going to be like, all right, so guys, auctions a little bit
guys, we're gonna have
different.
every 8 seconds. We're gonna have.
Jeez.
If you can't get it in time between signing it and claiming it and getting it to come through,
yeah.
you don't get it.
But yeah, so
Okay, so sorry,
7
work.
days, 7. So there's 100 million tokens up auction for the first 7 days each day, right? So it's a 700 million total mint, and then you're gonna have access to the ETH auction, the X28 auction, and Hyper auction all throughout the day, right? The full 24 hours every day. The Tink auction is going to be the last 2 hours of every auction day. So when it comes to ETH, X28, and Hyper, if you auction within the first 12 hours of any auction day, you get to claim immediately when the next auction day opens. If you auction in the last 12 hours of any given day, you get to claim your tokens starting hour 13, the latter half of the next auction day. Where things can get really interesting is on the Tink auction is going to be that last 2 hours of every day. You're going to see the Tink icon to click and get into that part of the auction, right? To make that come up. That's going to become active. All of a sudden, we're doing our best to make sure we have a timer involved with that aspect right there. But you're going to get to claim your warp from the Tink auction immediately. So that's the only difference here, is that we want you to reserve that degen in you for the last 2 hours of every auction day, and you get the benefit of claiming immediately when the next auction day opens. So that's going to be really, like, how is that going to play out? I don't know, but I think it can get pretty hot and heavy really fast. So let's see.
Come play with your Tink with us.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Get your Tink
Warp
out.
wants you to get hot and heavy with them. Okay,
Yes,
so
yeah.
X28, Hyper, and what are the input tokens?
ETH.
ETH.
Mhm.
Hyper, X28, and ETH
Yes.
for the first 12 hours. Okay. So in the first 12-hour bracket, I can enter with Hyper, ETH, or X28.
Mm-hmm.
And it will be available to me the second day 2 starts.
Yep.
That doesn't
Yes.
matter if I get in on minute 1 or at the 11-hour 59 mark.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Now, if I get in on the second bracket with my ETH, X28, or Hyper,
Mhm.
I have to wait until the second half of the second day until
Yeah.
I can claim.
Correct.
Again, it doesn't matter if I get in at 12:01 or if I get in at 11:59.
Yep.
But the last 2 hours of the day,
Mhm,
just the
mhm.
last 2 hours of the day, not the last 2 hours of each 12-hour window, the last 2 hours of each day, Tink opens up,
Mm-hmm.
and that is immediately claimable on the next day.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with these input tokens, because it's an auction, there's always going to be an ROI on these coins. So,
Mhm.
Whatever the ROI is, 10 people come in on each side, it splits that ROI down in 10 between
Mhm.
those 10 people. And maybe now it's not an attractive ROI, but no one's touched the Hyper one yet.
Yeah.
So
Can you
now
imagine?
10 people jump into the Hyper. Okay. And then that gets divided by 10 people. And then same with the X28.
X28.
You got it.
But at the end of the day, we still got that ink pool that
Uh-huh.
has its own dedicated amount for it that
Yeah.
you get to split up on its own ROI.
Yes.
That's just DGen Central time.
There you
We
go.
did that very specifically for that reason because we knew, I mean, obviously there's a reason, right? Why we wanted to do the 12-12. Because not that there's anything wrong with Vault, but if there was something that we could change, just tweak a little bit, right? With how that auction ends. What we didn't want to see was, people waiting for the last 5 minutes. That ROI is like 6, 7, 8, 9%. And then they just go super heavy and then sell it down
Mhm.
to 0 or even negative and then claim it right away and dump it. We didn't want to have that because we want to, we want people to go in early also. We don't want everyone to have to wait to find out, right? And then just kind of enter all at once. So this way you can enter early and at least have a little bit of knowledge knowing that even if everyone in that early first 12 hours, even if all those people dump, well, that's not going to be as hard on the chart or on, basically on the chart as if everyone for the full 24 hours just nukes all at once. So, the sell pressure there should be a little bit softened. Now, we also know that the people, we're going to probably piss people off, right? That wanted to wait because there's people that's their game that they like to play. I get it. I've done it before too. So to assuage their concerns, that's where we got the tink, the little that pops up last 2 hours. Go to town. Go to town. You know what I mean? Go to town on that guy.
So follow-up question to that. What happens to the tink that comes in to the protocol?
Excellent question. Nathan.
100% Genesis. You gotta trust us, bro. You gotta trust us. We know what we're doing.
Oh, I wasn't ready for it.
You're fired from these streams, bro.
You gotta blink or something like.
He's kidding. He's fucking kidding.
That's why someone needs to launch a protocol. It's just called Genesis, and it's like trust us. No. So no. The truth is,
speak it.
85%. So 85% of the auction is going into farms. So essentially, it's 85% of that auction is going into the Tink Titan X farm. We are going to use our own liquidity pools in order to not have any negatively portray. I don't know how you would say that. So to avoid any kind of to avoid any sell pressure on the main pairs, we are going to have our own Warp Titan X. We're going to have our Warp Tink pair that's going to allow us to get the farm ready, basically, that 50-50 split. Yeah, that's right. To get that 50-50 split, right? So it's going to be 8 days of taking in 85% of Tink from every auction day. And then on the 8th day,
yes.
I'm sorry. Yes. 7 days. I'm sorry. 7 days. It's going to go with the auction. 7 days of taking in the 85% of the auctions. And on day 8, that is going to roll into a 50-50 split with Titan X and Tink into that farm. Then begins the fee accrual, right? So that's going to happen every 8 days, a compounding. So imagine that the fees are coming in, 8 days, start the farm. Every 8 days, then that starts this ball rolling of compound the Tink coming into the auctions, right?
Yeah.
But then there's going to be a separate, the counter's going to start. So once the farm starts, every 12 days, we're going to take all the Tink fees or all the Tink rewards coming in and just 100% burn. And that's it. So that's going to go on forever. So we want to be building up that farm as much as possible so the fees keep compounding, and every 12 days you're going to see 100% Tink burn from the fees. And that's it. We're just never going to touch that. It's just going to do its thing, burning Tink every 2 times a month about.
Okay, so the Tink that comes in goes into the LP pair and goes into a farm. And then all the LP or all the Tink then that's pulled out of the farm just gets burned.
100%.
100%.
Okay. I like it. that should provide a decent amount of buy pressure on the Tink every day. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see exactly how that goes because that all depends on how many people participate, right? The amount that we can grow that farm as well as the burn that's going to happen, right? We'll see.
But it's like everything else. I mean, even if it doesn't end up being a super major burner of Tink, it's going to be that death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes.
Which is, you know,
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
where we are with Titan X right now. No matter what, everything is contributing towards giving a floor towards Tink. And now that's what you're doing here. Is you're adding more, you know, floor support to Tink. So,
and that farm, I mean, that farm is guaranteed to always have someone providing liquidity through it, and it's going to be
the farm, like,
you know,
the farm itself is providing floor stability.
Exactly.
That's all stuff that's not getting sold out.
Exactly.
Right.
And then the fact that you're taking the Tink that you then make out of the farm, you're burning that off. Like, yeah, that's legit.
And we won't be able to nuke. We won't be able to just nuke the liquidity from the farm. Once it's in there, it's in there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be in there for the life as long as Tink Titan X is in there as a farm. We're going to be compounding every 8 days. So it's going to keep growing and growing and growing. So obviously the fees or the Tink accrual that we're going to get theoretically, right, is going to keep growing and growing and growing. So every 12 days when we go to collect the fees and then burn it, theoretically that should get bigger and bigger and bigger as time goes on.
Yeah. And it's fun to do those calculations because you can only really use the current price of Tink, right? If that goes up, you know, it's only gonna, if the ROI on that pool goes up and the price of Tink goes up, it's only going to exponentially increase the amount that we're taking off the market through the farm or the pool or the burn, right?
Yeah, and pretty soon there's going to be 3 of us. We're not going to be the only ones burning Tink. So you have us, Steve DeFi is coming out with Farmer Abe, and then
Ascension.
Ascendant.
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 Sorry.
Trader Lee's Ascendant
Sorry,
is going to be
Lee.
burning. Is going to be burning Tink as well. So it'd be kind of cool. It'll be like a nice little healthy competition. You know, like, all right, who's burning the most Tink? You know.
Yeah.
So that'll be awesome. And then Steve, he's using Tink as obviously the input for Farmer Abe. I'm assuming that's going to be the input.
Yeah, I would think so.
We're going to have an input of Tink. So that'll be kind of fun to be like, hey, you know, I'm going to go play with Steve's Farmer Abe. Oh, maybe I don't love the ROI there. Let me go play with Warp, or vice versa. I want to play with Warp. Oh, I don't love the ROI on Warp. I'm going to go play with Farmer Abe. So you're going to have 2 different auctions, 2 different kind of styles with Tink as the input. That'll be pretty fun too. So
you're killing me right now. Like,
so hint,
pain that's in my face.
You might want to hold on to your some of your Tink, right?
No, that's what my pain in my face is. Bro,
Yeah.
I spent 1,000 Tink today to buy the dip in Morpheus. And now you're telling me that, bro, I just should have held on to patience and patience.
I've been surprised at how quickly those Tink. Well, depending on how much you're farming, right? But I'm surprised by how much my Tink. Man, to using that word in a sentence is always. I'm surprised at how much my Tink grows every day because of farms.
You know, I mean, fuck it.
Brought to you by Zyn.
Yeah.
I'm not farming that much, but fucking if I was farming so much, I was just making a boatload and then I held it off to the side and then Tink goes up and, you know, like I made $1 million off Tink. Bro, I get a fucking Tinky tattoo on me. I wouldn't.
Yeah, right.
Oh, dude.
Every
Absolutely.
day.
Yeah.
License plate says Tinky. Like,
I'm hoping Farmer Abe goes yard too, because that would be an awesome tattoo, bro. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
what
but
the hell
you,
is Farmer
I
Abe?
need to accrue more Tink because I just spent it all.
It's all right. It's all right.
That was probably a good choice. I would say that's a good choice for your Tink.
Hey, you know,
What is your Tink doing for you today?
I got a strong feeling Morpheus is going to parody with Dragon Axe. I could be wrong. Who knows? But I got a strong feeling with everything that's coming.
Ooh,
that's a distinct possibility. And if
strong
that's the
words,
case, that's a free 5X if that's the case. So yeah, Yeah, I cheated out of a little tink. Cheated out of a little
tank.
and I stuck my tink in some Morpheus. So
Oh,
it is hard to say it consistently without just laughing.
wow.
That's the
Wow.
best part of it, though. You gotta have fun with it.
Tink, tink, tink.
They should make some memes where the red pill is like has like Tink written on it. Wait, why would they do that? That doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense.
No, but I like where you're going with that. No, we can do something.
Oh man,
Tinky
Lawrence
Tink.
Fishburne being like, yes, I know kung
Mr.
fu.
Anderson,
Show me. Yeah.
give me your tink.
Uh, oh man.
So, how
Oh,
do you
so-
guys feel about this recent, bounce? Do you think it's just a bounce off a dip? Do you think I've been saying for a long time,
Yeah,
I think we're going to be super volatile for a while. So, is that what you think? Or do you think we're just actually biding our time until we X28 kicks in, Shogun kicks in, and then we just start ramping it up?
Yep,
that's hard. To
I
say.
agree. I agree. I think that's where we're at right now. Is we're gonna see some violent swings up. We're gonna see some violent swings when everyone takes profits. The people that are gonna win are gonna be the ones that buy the red and just hold. Those are gonna be the people that win. And it's the same story every crypto cycle. You always hear those people that lost, they had a big bag, they lost it in like 3 months just chasing. And then you'll hear of people that, lost their laptop. They found it like 4 years later, they open it up and they're millionaires. Those are the guys. Why did they win? Because they held. Holding is the hardest thing to do, especially when you see something go up 40%, because the very first thing in your head is, oh, it's going to dip down. Let me go ahead and sell, and then I'll just go ahead and buy it lower. Sometimes that works until it doesn't. Until it goes up 40%, you sell, it goes up another 40%, and you're like shaking like Katharine Hepburn in a windstorm. And then you go to buy, you now bought a top, it then nukes, then you sell, and then it keeps doing that cycle over and over and over. Just buy when it gets red and hold it. Instead of chasing, instead of selling what you have to get into something else, use dry powder. You don't have dry powder? Cool. Go start a farm. Get dry powder and use that to go ahead and do your chasing, because you can always make more tink, right? If you make $150 a day, cool. You can use that to go chase. But I always say the people that lose are the ones that are like, hey, I'm going to take some of my Dragon X and I'm going to go chase this with Dragon X, or I'm going to go take out my Titan X and go chase. The easiest way to cut all that crap out is just go farm or LP and make some fees, make some tank, use that. Now you have your money working for you, and it's almost like free money. Because right now we're doing this. We're doing this. We're not just going up and to the right. That's not yet. So you have some time still. You have some time. So that's what I always recommend, dude. Instead of chasing, just go into a farm, use that money, and use that to go chase. But no one ever listens to me. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Mello, you're a dork. You're on the team. Question for the warp team.
Oh no. So the reason why
he's like, hey,
question for the warp team.
Yeah.
Hey.
So
That's exactly what I thought.
he asked this because we were on
Good
with Smoothing Crypto. We were on with Smoothing Crypto yesterday, and I posited a question, and I was like, that would be kind of interesting if Warp ended up making it on a farm and we were farming already on the Tank Titan X pair.
Yeah.
It'd be like a double farm. So that would be interesting.
No cell tax, no buy tax.
No cell tax,
No.
but not V2. It's V3.
Then it's only a matter of volume, brother. You get that volume up.
I just said
let's
it'd be
fucking
interesting.
go.
It'd be kind of interesting, right? If we were on a farm, if we were on the farm, and we're also farming on a different farm.
That'd be beyond interesting. That'd be wild.
Bro, double farming, bro.
Double rainbow, double farming.
That's like that's like
farming all
farming
the way.
with government subsidies, dude. You know what I mean?
God, double farming. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Kinda
Here's a. Can I give you guys a community suggestion?
Oh God, don't make us change the fucking protocol again, Mo. We've already changed it 8 times, but go for it.
Because
Fuck, I was gonna throw you a curveball earlier, but then I worked it out in my head and I was like, oh, that's not a big deal. Now I fucking totally derailed it. Damn it.
No, you're good.
no, what
No,
was the
I derailed it in the
community
sense of I don't know
suggestion?
what
What
the
is
fuck
that?
Community suggestion. Talk to me.
And if
Fuck,
not,
lost it.
we could put
Nope,
a pin in
it's
it.
gone. Yep.
It'll come
Damn it.
back.
That's the second time that happened today.
Uh,
That happened to me in the middle of
Did it have something? Did
the
it have
Felix
something to
stream.
do with like? Did it have something to do with like buy and burns or ETH or farming?
Oh, I do want to know what it is. That
There you go.
I don't know how this triggered it, but it did. Volt and Lotus on their launch
Mhm,
used that Dex screener boost,
mm,
and they
Yes.
had enormous volume
Yes.
in the beginning. I'm not saying
Yes.
it's directly correlated, but it would seem that the launch days is one of the best days to do that. And while it is a bit pricey, if it got your volume up, it might be worth the.
Oh yeah, we're taking a look at all the things, brother. All the
Yeah.
things. So, fun fact: Mello here is one of the guys that's in charge of getting everyone on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap. He's a pro at it,
He's a king at that.
and I think his what was it yesterday? He was talking about he got someone listed on CoinGecko in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
What?
Yeah. And so I told him, I'm like, you better have your shit together when Warp comes out then if you're doing this for other people in 5 minutes.
Right.
You dirtbag.
Like 5 days later, he's like, I'm going to tell you guys, I can't get it done.
I'll tell you. No, but he's an absolute stud. So he's got this like, he's very specific. He knows exactly what they're looking for, exactly what they need. He gets it to them, and then, he's I love the X and Dong X. That's what I'm talking about.
No, you weren't supposed to give that. You weren't supposed to give that the dignity of saying it out loud. Damn it.
Is that Shrey's protocol?
Dong X.
Someone made Dong X after a stream I did with Jake, and
Is it on Titan X?
Is it a meme?
it is. I thought it was the guys who did Jake X, but they vehemently deny that it's them. So we'll see. But
Mello's gonna come.
there was a stream I did with Jake where James did a YouTube super chat, but he paid in Vietnamese currency, and the name of the Vietnamese currency is Dong.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And so we looked it up, and there was this whole thing where for 10 minutes it was just this nonstop battle.
I remember that. I remember coming into that stream. Well, I came into the stream to watch it, and everyone was talking about dongs, and Shrey was just going nuts in the chat. And I was like, what just happened?
Well, it went on for about
story.
10 streams or so.
Yeah, so okay,
who knows
that's the
which one it
background.
was.
That's the
But
background.
that's the background, and someone actually made it. But my general thing is like I didn't touch Jake X until I fucking found out Rudy was behind it as the creator. And I was like, what the hell? I would have bought this months ago. Damn it.
Right.
Damn it, Rudy. But so I don't know who made Dong X. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, I don't know. But it's on there. I mean,
there is a Hydra. There's a Hydra Dong X pool.
Shut up. It has
Letting you know.
it has multiple pairs now.
Oh, you DJ.
Yeah, it has a Dong X. There's a Dong X Volt, the Dong X Dragon X. Wow.
Straight.
What?
Enjoying saying that.
What?
Dong X. So the main Dong X pair has $242 in volume in the last 24 hours. So it has 2.5K in liquidity. But
all right,
it's out there.
Whoever did Dong X, I hope you're watching the stream, and I hope you send me a donation to themo.eth because I'm giving you a lot of fucking
People
airtime
are starting to watch that thing now.
Oh God.
Watch that, just
Dong
green
X.
candle, just
Yeah.
someone puts in a $10 buy, it's going to go up 35%.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
All right, this is hilarious.
Dong X.
Dong X docs.
Can we take a look at the chart?
I'm
I feel like-
pulling it up. I'm actually pulling it up.
Let's go. Let's pull this bad boy up. Okay.
Look at
Okay.
that. Wait a second. That's
not terrible.
Cool. I know.
Not terrible. Little Bart Simpson chart, but you know.
They got
Okay.
a cool
8,000 in liquidity, bro.
Oh, dude,
Whoever's in that is about to go be a millionaire on paper on the next buy.
bro. This reminds me of like Teddy Bear when that came out. It had like $500 in liquidity or something ridiculous, and so no one wanted to touch it. And then when it did it like a 10x, no one could sell because there was only like $1,000 in liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
But if you held,
Bro,
you did very, very nice.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Dragon X one has almost as much liquidity. I guess it's a little bit less. The market cap's the same. That's interesting.
$81 in volume.
What are the issues? Has a whitelist.
4%.
Oh, and there's a sell tax. I'm glad I saw
That's
that.
interesting. Right.
Suspicious functions. Token sniffer. Token sniffer says it's dog shit. I don't know. I just made that up. Interesting.
Token
Okay.
sniffer says it's tough.
Look
Look at that.
I'm sorry. I'll give you a rocket just for that.
Is that the oh, Dong X? That's pretty cool. Is that like some Vietnamese guy going crazy? If you go,
He's
if you
getting that
scroll,
money.
bro, look at this guy.
Oh my
Dong
I
God.
love the way AI makes like fake language sometimes on like look at his armband.
Oh yeah.
That's
It's so
funny.
bad sometimes, but yeah, it's hilarious. I remember
That almost
trying to
looks
make
like-
early AI stuff with Titan X on it, and it would be like TI blank X.
Yeah, we
I'm
were
like,
playing
"Oh,
around with some of yeah, it's
Oh, you're killing me.
That almost looks like the Litecoin symbol on his right pack.
Uh-oh. Litecoin. As long as it's not FTX, we're good.
Oh god. I mean, it's
Alright.
not a terrible chart.
Dong X, you're
It
in
did,
your,
you know, pretty much.
So you got Titan X, Dragon X, Weath, Baby Dragon X. Fucking
Baby
Zybar
Dragon
made it.
X and
I'll bet you
Who did-
Zybar made it. I don't know why. I never thought of
yeah.
that.
This
I mean,
That's
he's
my
from
fault.
part of
there's
town,
some
right?
clues. There's some clues we could pick up here. Yeah, some context
yeah.
clues.
I'm like, hang on now. Why did I never think of All right, Zybar, if you become a millionaire off Dong X, I expect an ETH deposit.
Can you imagine
in my,
sitting around the Thanksgiving
Momo.e.
table? How you doing? Oh, Dong X is
Oh,
going
Dong
yard,
X
bro.
is-
The family just bought an entire strip of houses in Beverly Hills. How'd we do it? Dongs.
Dong
Lots
X.
of fucking dongs. All right. Well, all right. There's your time. I gave it to you.
So the other, I can shift because the other aspect
Thank you.
that we had so the other aspect we haven't so that was good. I'm glad that we hit the Tink portion hard. And the but the other aspect is the ETH input, right? Because that's our so the ETH input it kind of goes hand in hand with the hyper input, right? So we're at the heart of it. We're a build on Hyper protocol, and Hyper utilizes ETH as its input, right, for miners. So expanding out to ETH as an input allows us to go outside of the ecosystem and allows people to get into Warp, into the Titan X ecosystem just through ETH, right? But the interesting aspect of the ETH input is that 30% of the daily auctioned ETH is going to go towards creating hyperminers. So a little bit of an update there is that we are going to be monitoring the ROI on hyperminers. So originally we were thinking, every 2 ETH that comes in, it's 1,000 power, 88-day max miner on Hyper. However, if we're sitting there on launch day and we see that you have 44-day miners, for example, are in a pretty decent ROI on Hyper, we're gonna be gearing those that the 2 ETH, every 2 ETH coming into starting 1,000 power 44-day miner. So that's the big update there. So in with that, then you have a lot more to look forward to as far as how those miners are being burned, right? So how those miners are being called back into the Hyperburn and the ultimately the buy and burn functions on Warp. We're gonna have something to look forward to a lot more quickly, right? That's our intention there. So we wanted to make sure that we're able to have some input on the length of the hyperminers. So that's another shift that's kind of happened. So through the ETH input, 30% going towards creating max hyperminers. The length of them is going to be variable based on the current ROI of Hyper. So you might go on one day and see like, oh, today we're creating 44-day miners or we're creating 88-day miners another day, right? Based on the ROI. So we want to make sure that the ultimately it's all about keeping Warp, the longevity of Warp going as long into the future as possible, right? So we want to be able to perpetuate our auctions, keep burning Hyper, keep burning Warp, and keep it being profitable, right? As long as possible.
We should.
That makes sense.
Yep, and shout out to you for holding your own with all the Dom comments. Just
I had to like keep my eyes like I was talking to, I don't know.
You're like, huh? No, stay on topic. Stay on topic.
Yeah, right. You see like this. I'm like the ETH coming in. Stop
it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Dum.
Yeah, I sneaked a peek.
Oh my god. Okay, so let's shift a little. I try and get every damn founder to do this, and no one ever fucking does. So do me a favor, try. What are you excited about in this system right now that's not related to what you're doing?
Go ahead, Nathan.
And this isn't a declaration that the things you aren't talking about aren't great, and this isn't a financial endorsement.
You want me to go? I'll go right now. I'll tell you exactly what I'm excited about. Bro,
let's go.
Let's fucking go. Steve DeFi. This sumbitch is just absolutely killing the game. Do not fade this man. When he puts something out, drop a couple in there and just hold the fuck on and watch it just rip. Everyone was not everyone. There were people that were kind of ho-humming, right? Because he came out with this brand new thing, his wheel, and they didn't really understand exactly how this wheel was working, right? Because they're so used to staring at Dex Screener. People are so used to staring at Dex Screener. That's because the TitanX ecosystem, we rely heavily on buy and burns. All of our protocols have buy and burns. So we're very used to seeing it on Dex Screener. Here's a buy. Here's a buy. Here's a buy. The way that his wheel is set up, it's a little bit different. So you're not necessarily going to see everything. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on. Okay. And people were fading it. People were like, oh, this isn't working. I don't know if this was a good idea, blah, 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 blah. And everyone had questions about it. I even had questions about it. I didn't doubt him, but I was like, hey, this wheel thing, how's this thing working? Right. Well, now look at where we are right now. You just got to give it time. The thing wasn't even out for 4 days yet. And people were like, oh, I don't understand how this is working. I don't get it. You don't have to get it. Just buy the damn thing. Hold it. Because in Steve DeFi, we trust. So he's coming out
exactly the same with Volt. Like
it was, look,
the
dude,
exact same thing
if you put the charts together, if you overlay the charts on top of each other, they do the same thing, right? It's like it's going to go down because everyone's like, I didn't get 45,000 ROI. I'm out. And then guess what happens? Around day 6, day 7, look out, cookout. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, I don't know. That's just what I saw. But here's what we were talking to Smooth yesterday, right? Smooth and Crypto. And I made this comment and I'm like, you know what? That's actually a really good way of thinking about it. Steve DeFi is the giver of second chances. Let me explain. Did you not get into DragonX? Boom, Viper. Did you not get into this protocol over here? Boom, he's got a pillar for you. Did you not get into this protocol over here? Boom, he's coming out with a pillar for that.
Mhm.
This man is giving everybody a second chance. So if you didn't get into that thing that just shot up and you're like ho-humming about it, here's your second chance. So that's what I'm excited about. The fact that he's giving literally every protocol a second chance. He's already talked to us and said, hell, I'll build a pillar on you guys. I don't give a shit. I'm like, damn, Steve. Like, good Lord, buddy. This guy, he's just taking over, but in a good way. He's literally helping every single protocol out. He's helping Titan X at the end of the day. And everything ties back into Volt. That might be something you might want to look at, because what's the price of Volt going to be? Not just at the end of this bull market, which is fun to think about, but let's go ahead and step back. What the hell is this thing going to be in 8 years? What do you think Volt is going to be worth? You kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? So, like, I don't know. I'm all jacked up on coffee and I had like energy drinks today. But like, I almost get offended for Steve when I see people fading him and trashing, like they don't understand what he's doing. So they're like poo-pooing. Like, I almost get offended. I'm like, are you kidding me? This guy's redefining DeFi in your face. He's coming out with things that you've never even heard of every single day. He is helping the ecosystem in a way that's unimaginable right now. So when he comes out with something, I'm not saying ape everything you own into it, but if you're wondering, what should I go into today? Look no further than one of his 37 protocols he's going to have out in a month or 2 months. The giver of second chances. That's what I'm calling Steve.
You're offended, and I just like feel so bad for him, because I just have these flashbacks to my white paper stream with Morpheus, and it was on day 5 or day 6, and this dude in the middle of the chat was like, "Yeah, man, that's just it's not doing anything. What a disappointment."
Every protocol, every protocol that has come out, I've noticed
one of them.
Every single protocol that comes out, you're going to have people that come out of the woodwork that are new to the ecosystem, or this is their first or second foray, and they're like, I'm not up 5,000%. This is trash. And it's like, if you look at the history,
and it's a lot of also early profit taking, because a lot of people are going to get it. It's like the ARB people,
Yes.
Oh, did I finish one day later and I just made a 60% on my investment? Then I'm going to fucking cash it in. And so those early people taking that quick 2x or a half an X, just cashed in and nuked that price. And then whenever prices go down, people get emotional and then they bail out. And then, all of a sudden you're sitting there way under the starting ratio. And you're like, well, this is an easy pickup.
Now, that was just part one of what I'm excited about.
Okay.
Allow me to continue. I'll give you some more, bud. What am I also excited about?
I'll go on mute.
A little protocol called Inferno. People forgetting about Inferno, right? Right now, if you take a look at what is going on with those guys, they have about, carry the 37 fucking protocols building on top of them. Okay, pardon my français, but get it together, you some bitches.
That's a good clip right
like
there.
This, dude. This doesn't come about. This doesn't happen anywhere else. You have a deflationary asset, then you have capped, deflationary, capped. Very important. Capped,
not
deflationary.
With quintillions.
No, capped.
There was something I got into like a couple, like maybe last cycle, and I have no idea what it is, but I remember looking at like when you finally, like when you're out of that initial phase of just buying anything because it's cheap. Yes. And then you're like, all right, well, what's the supply on this? You start wrapping your head around. Before you even wrap your head around who has the supply, just when you're starting to be like, all right, how many fucking There's 50 quintillion of these.
Yeah.
What? How am I gonna? This is never. What?
Yeah. It's like you look at you're like, I have 450 trillion. Is that good or
There's so many.
Yeah, it's like
The
12
Minimax
zeros
won't
and a
hold
2?
it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Calm down. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm excited for all the memes. I'm excited for Morpheus. Why am I excited for Morpheus? Well, because here's a guy who was a big time pulse chain guy, comes from that neck of the woods, comes over here, and he's like, hey, I have something cool that I can build on Titan X. Let me go ahead and show how awesome this is. Right. And it's doing fantastic for especially if you look at how early it is. It's early. That is a new protocol. And it's just absolutely ripping. Right. I like to say, don't let the very early stages of your protocol define who you are. Let's take a look at James. You remember when Baby Dragon X came out, every single person faded that man. Everybody faded that.
Yep.
And then look at who did a 140X in like 15 minutes.
Without anyone taking part in that, not taking part in the protocol, without anyone after that mint phase taking it. Like that was a dead protocol in terms of volume. No one traded it. No one bought it. If you minted it in the beginning, then you minted it. After that mint phase, almost no one picked it up. So it did 100x just off the coattails because of liquidity bonding. Imagine if people had bought into it.
Yeah. It had 40,000. How long was it sitting there with a $40,000 market cap? Right?
Yep.
Months.
And everyone faded it. And then guess what? Dragon X started ripping. Guess who came with it? And then passed it. It was like Dragon X was ripping, and then here goes Baby Dragon X. See you later.
Yeah, that was sitting there while we were learning how to build liquidity walls on base, right? That's when that whole thing was, right?
Yeah. Oh, Mo, I don't know. Speaking of that, just real quick, I'm not sure how much of the stream last night you caught. We went on for quite a while, but I gave everyone the story of your Diamond Hands story, your Andy story, and I let everyone know that the genuine real Mo is the when I say he is diamond handed to the max. I've never met anyone more diamond handed than you, sir. Yeah, so we gave you a huge shout out for that yesterday.
He needs a cart to carry around his diamond balls.
Hey, to the moon or into the fucking ground we go, boys. Let's fucking go.
Dude, it was what an absolutely fabulous thing to watch. Everyone else was like, bro, someone check on Mo, dude. Someone check on Mo.
Because the Titans of LP chat was on to like whatever protocol, 50 million past Andy, and Mo's just like, I'm doing good here, guys. We look back, we're like,
he's like, I ain't leaving. And then sure enough, it came back, it came over. You got to make even more money, and then you got out unscathed. I was like, dude, what an absolute pleasure that was to watch. Yeah, hats off, dude. Hats off.
It's like those movies where you're flying in between the canyon crashing in between you, and you're like, oh god, and I got out just in time. Yeah. That's what that one was.
Hey, you know what though?
Hold it.
Yeah. Hold.
Punch it now.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It was
I tell you what, learning from you guys and compounding those fees was something that enabled me to do that. So that was my sort of afterburner in the end that got me out of that hole. Yeah. So it worked out very well.
And how much did it cost you to compound those fees on base? It was like, oh no, it's 4 cents today. Wow.
I put it this way: I never ever made a sale to make ETH to pay for gas.
Yep.
Ever. Like the amount that I bridged, I think I probably bridged in like $25 for fees. I don't think I ever went through it. I'm pretty sure it's still there.
It's like there. Pulse Chain. $10 will get you through the year on Pulse Chain.
That's amazing.
Oh, I was talking about that on stream the other day with on the shit show. with the crypto
Compassion.
compassion. I always want to say crypto connoisseur, crypto compassion. Awesome, dude. I was talking about that, like the amount of trading that I did on Pulse Chain last year.
Yeah.
Bro, that would have been like tens of thousands of dollars
Oh,
in
yeah.
fees on
Oh, yeah.
Ethereum.
Oh yeah.
There's no way I would have been able to do that.
Especially like
Yeah.
February of this year, February, March, April. Whoo-wee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, Mo? I'll give you two. So I'm interested in the mechanics of Felix to see what that does, and I am extremely excited about TEDx and Rudy teaming up with Mizuchi. Did I get that right?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yes,
I
you
think
did.
that's who it is. I think it's Rudy and TEDx, right?
Yes.
Because there's going to be an NFT aspect with Mizuchi, right?
Yes.
And everyone can.
I still have to do a
that
deep
Rudy
dive in there,
knows
but
what he's doing.
anything those two are doing is solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rudy's
you don't,
put out
if you
some
don't think
bangers
Rudy
and-
knows what he's doing in that in regards to that by this point. Don't
Yeah.
fade that.
Yeah, pretty much. Don't fade Rudy. And Ted is literally one of the greatest OG community members that we have. Solid dude. Super smart. Likes to just hang in the wings and just, add a little 2 cents here and there. And it's always gold. So I'm super excited to see what they're going to come up with because I know it's going to be awesome.
So other than everything we went through, I don't know if there's much more other than we're keeping our we're just grinding, right? We're just making sure that everything constantly checking out the math of the protocol, right? To make sure that everything works out so that when we head into audits that everything checks out there, and then we go into testing. And we'd really like to have some people outside of the team and in the community help out with the testing phase. So we kind of get some word of mouth going there, some streams showing that, hey, this is good. Then we just want to make sure we launch at an appropriate time. And it's not going to, I don't think it's not going to be next year. It's going to be this year.
Okay. Don't rush it though. If you need
No.
to do an
Yeah.
extra week on testnet, crank it out. Not that you need me to tell you that.
Yeah, we're gonna be testing this because there's a lot of well, I don't want to say a lot of mechanics, but there's different things going on. So we want to extensively test. Obviously, we want to see, okay, the tank. We want to make sure that all works, that
Mhm.
all flows nicely. The buy and burn of the fees, that's doing nice. When you hit claim for the miners, is that claiming the miners? Okay, what is it doing with that? We want to make sure all of that is working seamlessly. And to piggyback on what Nathan said, that's why we're going to be reaching out to some trusted members of the community to test this out for us. Because look, if we test it, we're going to be like, oh, it's great. It's awesome. It's perfect. Right. Whereas someone like you might say, hey, this was kind of horse shit. Can you please fix it? And we'd be like, yeah, we should probably fix that. Right. So that's kind of what we're looking for is some feedback other than just the founders and the devs. Right. What's this? DongX is a scam?
I don't know if it is or if it isn't, but like we said when we started talking about it, if you're going to ever take part in anything, it better be on a fresh wallet and you better be careful. Do your research and understand the risks of what you're getting involved with. I have no idea who did DongX. I don't know.
Yeah, we're just having fun, but
we're just having a fun conversation. So definitely don't take anything we say as an endorsement. I apologize, and because of that, I'm literally never going to mention anything other ever again.
I'm a man, but I have no DongX.
I was like, where are you going?
I'm a man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
what are we getting
I
into?
appreciate that. All right.
So Mo, you know what? That makes me realize too that everyone should know there are user called functions in Warp, and it's going to be the three main buy and burn user call functions, right? So you're going to have and it's the way that it has to work out because we need everything ultimately to feed the auctions. We need everything to be in Warp. Well, how do we get ETH, Hyper, X28 and Tink? Well, no, Tink's going to do its own thing. Forget about that. How do we get the ETH, X28 and Hyper back to Warp? well, we need to gradually transfer that over, burn the warp, and feed the perpetual auctions through user called functions. So, and everyone's used to it at this point. When you look at how the hyper buy and burn works, how the Hydra buy and burn works, you're going to have use the ETH to buy X28. Well, that's going to be a cool new aspect though, because we're not going Titan X, right? So it's going to be ETH buying X28, X28 buying Hyper, and then Hyper buying and burning warp. And there's going to be two direct hyper burns, right? So there's going to be about there's going to be a percent of every call of the buy and burn that's going to burn a little bit of hyper. And then the miners, there's going to be a percentage of the miners that are burned when they're claimed. So that's that.
Question from our own founder.
Mellow. What happens to the hyper once the deity is? Well, Mellow. So now we were talking about this.
It might be like a rhetorical kind of thing. He just wants you to say it.
Oh, right.
He said it was in the warp chat. He's helping out. I mean, maybe tell them in the warp chat to come on stream, Mellow. That's the way this would work.
That's right.
Come on, buddy. Jeez.
So so as well. So that brings up a good point, Mellow, because it's likely, very likely, that by the time we start mining the hyper with ETH, that there's going to be some way shorter miners that are in a positive ROI that we're going to be getting to claim probably maybe a month and a couple weeks into the protocol, that are going, once the user calls the function to claim that mine batch claim. So we're going to do a 20 once the hyper miners start coming due, there's going to be a daily batch claim button, right? Depending on how many miners were created every day. And we're going to have stats, right, showing how many miners Warp has created and how much is coming due. And then we're going to be able to show how much hyper has been burned through that. And then a portion of that gets reallocated back through the protocol to be burned and to perpetuate auctions to create, and then ultimately to create more miners. So to keep that going, it would be amazing. It'd be like one of the highest honors if Warp can become the place where you go to create hyper miners, right? Knowing that supply being created is going to be burned and used towards the longevity of the protocol, right? And towards future burns. So,
with these user call to functions, will you be able to change the the user incentive so that as gas fees get super duper high, or as GUI gets high, they'll be callable? Or do you just want them to allow the market to ebb and flow and sort of play itself out that way?
Well, the incentive is going to be paid.
No judgment.
The user incentive is going to be paid in DongX, so they'll have that going for them. I know, right? I can't.
Okay, what's gonna happen from now on? We can't go live. We're just gonna have to record these, and I'm gonna have to edit you motherfuckers afterwards.
Yes, so we will have the ability to change
the I'm not monetized. It doesn't matter. They already told it.
Yes, so that's the whole thing here, and everyone may notice that there's been some gradual changes here to the white paper as well, because we're going to be able to yes, sir. That is correct, Shrey. We will be our supply will be under 1 billion. But the user called functions are going to pay out the incentive in whatever that function is, right? If it's the we were just going through this, Johnny, right? If it's the ETH buys Titan X, that payout will be in ETH. That incentive will be in ETH, right? I have to check back through it, but yes, there's going to be an incentive specific to each call, either in ETH, Titan X, Hyper, X28 or Hyper.
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be we're going to start pretty hot and heavy, and it very may well be that it's going to be an every 5 minute buy and burn right off the bat. But as we get to see how things go, we're going to be able to oh no.
You're notorious for it already now. You're like one time, guys.
And I'm so glad I set the alarm, because it happened. It happened again.
Did you get the nuclear air raid?
No.
River.
Yeah. I chose.
God.
I wake up pretty easily though, so I use this thing called
Except
slow.
for that day.
Except for that day, I was. You guys are talking, and I'm just like.
I wake up perfectly easily. Where is this fucking guy? Will you call him?
Yeah,
he's not answering.
Anyway. What was that? Oh yeah. Okay, so duration.
Don't pin that on me. That's on you. You got to remember what you were saying.
Total tokens burn and frequency. Yes, we're going to be able to have some control over that, right? As well as the incentive. So yes, as gas gets crazy, we'll have to see. But at the same time, Mo, say that we had it set at a 5 minute, right? That's going to compound 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So you're going to see the incentive stack, just like, yeah,
that's true.
But I think that's going to be a little bit unique, because you haven't seen a protocol. Well, not from what I've seen so far, but a protocol that stacks the buy and burn like that, but is also a multi-call function. I'm sorry, a multi-step process to get to the burn, right? Like your Hydra or your Hyper burns, but also stacks, right? So I think that's going to be, we have confirmed that is possible, and it'll be interesting to see how that is going to work, because can we leave it at a 5 minute? If Gwei's like Gwei gets 100 plus, you're going to let that thing stack a couple times, let the incentive equal the gas, right? And then go, right?
Fair enough.
You know what I've always wanted. You know what
stacks also is what
the incentives. Well, yeah, the incentives. It has to, right?
Right.
It don't have to stack. Yeah.
Right. Important to know.
Hear me typing to the
What are you about
dev.
to say?
The incentive is going to stack, right?
What were you about to say? You were about to say something.
Oh, no, yeah. I always wonder about that, when it's like you're waiting for the incentive, like on what was I watching on Viper, right? You would watch you watch it stack, you look at the incentive. There was another one too that I was looking at that. And it's like when but when it gets to the level of where it does, if gas is high, right? When it gets to the level where it does equal that, then you got to consider the other aspect. I'm like, well, if you just waited for it to pay you $80 in the incentive, but then you get that token, you're not getting ETH, right? You get that token as the incentive of what you're calling. It's like, well, then what are you going to do? You're going to pay the gas to get that, whatever, I was just thinking about that aspect.
Don't overthink it.
I know I am overthinking it, because now I'm thinking like, well, you just hold the token, right? But but if you
build your bags, buddy, call them the buy and burn. Way to build your bags.
That's what Mello does.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, he's not lying, Mo. Mello, one time I called.
He's a buy and burn ARB addict.
Dude, he is an addict on Element 280. So I call him one time and I just hear him clicking. I'm like, what are you fucking doing? And he's like, oh, I'm on Element 280's buy and burn page. There's like 37 buy and burns, and I'm getting like $15 a buy and burn. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I just turned $20 into like 300. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, go ahead, bud. Yeah.
It's funny. A year from now, someone's going to watch this, and the 37 protocols is going to be legit. There will be probably 37 buy and burns on.
Easy.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Steve will have 37 protocols to
for
himself.
sure.
So let me derail it again, because
Let's
that's
go.
what I do. So you were saying you didn't watch the Tyson fight after all that?
I did.
I didn't.
I
What'd you
watched
think?
the last round. It was
That's all you watched the last round.
well, that because we got off the smooth. I had to get out. Well, so we were almost smooth and crypt. Well, I felt it was right. I fell asleep.
Oh, that's right.
And
You
then I
guys
got
were
on the
streaming.
smooth. I got on with Maxwell Smooth an hour late, over an hour late. That went until like 11:30 something our time. Until I was getting like these texts from my wife being like she was stuck in the bedroom with our 2-year-old daughter, and she couldn't get out of there with her crying. So I was like, okay, I'll go help out. I rocked her back to sleep, and I'm like, oh wait, did I miss it? So I put it. I'm like, I'm rocking my kid and like watching these like two really slow dudes duke it out. I'm like, oh, they are tired.
So I don't think Jake was tired at all. I think if you have time to watch it, because they're 2-minute rounds, like they were reduced.
Yeah.
Were they?
8 rounds, 2 minutes apiece. Yeah, it was just really bizarre.
Yeah, it was
structure.
weird how fast that went.
It was, like
That's
it was
weird,
like they're
dude.
trying to
2 minutes.
era of a real fight, but you got a 58-year-old man, so you got to like that's
Mhm.
kind of where they were trying to like make sure he wouldn't get too fucking winded, that it would still be a fight. And like honestly, first round, he came out and he looked a little fast. He didn't really connect with anything that much. And I think it was like in round 2, Jake popped him right in the face, and he staggered back and had this look on his face, like someone who hasn't gotten punched in the face in 18 years, and it was like, this is not Iron Mike. And then from then on, he just sort of jabbed him and hooked him here and there. And like the entire fight, he had his hands down almost the entire fight. Jake Paul had his hands down here. He wasn't like this. He was like this. Like it was just, he made it look good. I mean, he fought ish, but he could have knocked fucking Tyson out, I think. And he didn't want to make him look bad. Because, if you knocked him out, you're this asshole who just fought a 58-year-old.
Right.
Him out. There's no win in this for the guy.
yeah.
You just
That's
a guy
interesting.
who's a member of AARP. Congratulations.
Like, how's that? If you demolish him, you're just the asshole who laid out an almost 60-year-old man.
Congrats. But it is a 60-year-old Mike Tyson.
That's what everyone wants to do. Is like, oh, it's Mike Tyson.
He did
He's only
bite a
60 years
dude's
old.
ear off.
It's well in the I guess the pre-fight
Oh,
stuff.
uh-huh.
He had a funny scene where he had a diamond studded spiked ear covering, and that was for Tyson in case he tried to bite his ear off.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I
That
was
was
like,
the
that's
last time I saw
funny.
Tyson fight, by the way.
It's been like 18 years.
Yeah, I remember that. I was in
It-
high
it-
school. It was a good time.
It was like 18 or 19 years. It was. They said it was like the first time he's fought since 2003. I think 2002. I was like, come on, yeah, man, he's
Yeah.
Like-
but when did the
like,
ear
forget saying
biting happen? That
58.
was 90s, right?
60 years, bro. He was like 60 years. What the ear? Yeah, the ear was mid 90s. Yeah, because I my dad was super into boxing, and I grew up watching all the heavyweight matches. My dad worked at a cable company, and so he jerry-rigged it, and we had a pay-per-view for free. 'Cause,
Yeah.
he cheated. And so we watched every damn match there was. We had every Tyson match taped, every Holyfield match
Heroes
taped.
are remembered. Legends never die.
Like all that stuff. So like I grew up watching all these tapes, and then I got to like when I started watching, it was like the very end of it all. But then Dad would pop in these tapes, and I'd watch like the whole history of Tyson, and then and like he showed me the Buster Douglas knockout and all that, and then then we watched. I remember watching the Holyfield match, and the thing that I remember more than anything was that damn paraglider crashing into the ring.
Oh my
Like in,
god, I forgot about
In like
that.
round 6 or 7. Yeah. So the whole thing had to stop. And then I think it was like right after that, he started biting his ear. It was just like
He's like,
Dude.
that's it. We got to get out of this. We got to get out of this fight.
one of the wildest things ever.
Did you ever watch Sugar Ray Leonard fight, man? That's
Yes.
good stuff.
Yeah,
Just like
my
the
dad has like
speed-
every
the
fight of
speed
every
and
great guy.
efficiency is just ridiculous.
My dad had like mostly heavyweights and middleweights, but he still had like, I mean, if you were a champion, he had them all. Like he had the De La
Wow.
Hoya fights, he had them all.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was,
De La Hoya.
yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I wonder what he would think about UFC because he passed before that stuff.
Mm.
I wonder if he would be one of those guys who's like, nah, I'm gonna stick to my old guns and only boxing, or if he'd
No
be like,
feet.
oh, this is amazing. They're smashing these fools. Let's watch this now. I suspect it might be along the lines of that. But yeah, anyway. Yeah, so it was interesting. Kind of like closing out the last chapter in my mind of like, and boxing's done. Like,
Yeah.
that's just-
Oh man.
it kind of already was in my head, but now that's like I remember, God, it was over 10 years ago. It was I don't remember who it was. It might have been a De La Hoya fight, and it was like, this is going to be the last great boxing match ever, and it went 10 rounds, and between the two guys 1,000 punches were landed, and none of them even looked red in the face, and it was like, what is this?
How's
What
that?
is this? This boxing shit, and you just watched, something the other day on UFC where someone just destroys someone. You're like, yeah, this boxing shit is done. So I don't know. It is what it is. It was interesting to watch it. I hope Tyson gets a little bit of money to retire on now, because Lord knows he's famous for having blown all the money he had.
Yep. Yeah, he's had a crazy life, man.
Yeah.
They'll just bring him into the Hangover Part 4, or whatever. From
Did you ever watch Rick and Morty?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
big fan.
The episode where they go to like the intergalactic arcade
Uh-huh.
and he plays as the life of someone.
Yep.
Dude, when they can do that and you can live the life as Mike Tyson, I can't wait to live that life.
No.
That's gonna be
And have
insane.
a pet tiger? Hell yeah, dude.
But
Let's go.
yeah, there's gonna have to be a ripcord because most of us aren't gonna have like the sanity to be able to live through an entire Mike Tyson life. And halfway through it, we're gonna be like, "Whoa, tiger! Pull the cord." And you're like, "Oh, I gave up when he was 22. There was so much of his life, like,
I gave up when he was 22.
Anyway. All right. Well, gentlemen, we've been yakking for an hour and 15 minutes. I know you guys are on the East Coast. Nathan, you're probably ready to go to bed in a little bit again.
My wife's got some events taking place tomorrow, and I promised her I would vacuum the carpets. So that's what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah,
Yay,
said that
family man.
You said that in the tone of voice of no, I can keep going. I'm supposed to vacuum right now. I got a vacuum. Like I if you guys want to go 3 more hours, I could totally.
Please save me.
That was the
Yeah.
yeah.
Blink once if you need help.
My wife has a list.
Yeah.
Like,
Just give me an excuse.
yeah, blink in Morse code.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Allie Bryant here has a great question. Thoughts on
Wait,
Titan
are you
X?
bringing us back to reality?
Yeah. Thoughts on Titan X X28 LP pairing so far? Any good? Worth it? It's a great question. Mo, would you
Well-
mind bringing up the old chickadee chart and seeing what the we could take a look at the volume and all that kind of cool stuff.
I'm thinking
In
that
terms
this
of
is
that.
one. You
Keep it right, keep it tight.
Yep.
Keep it right, keep it tight. Tight, a very tight window on that one. Min max, keep it tight. You don't need to go far out.
And you can let that thing ride
Yep.
a long time.
When we're talking tight, this can be almost as tight as can be because we're going to put it in Titan X here.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
Let's
look at that.
Really spread that
I mean,
out.
are you going to
Okay.
see that thing ever fluctuate? Like, are you going to see that go? It might go 0.90 Titan X and as high as like 1.1 Titan X. I think that's my opinion, but
You could have, flash moves in either direction that instantly get eaten up by arbitrage.
exactly.
Yeah.
And imagine what that would do for your tight ass LP. The fees.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, between 0.9.
Yeah, the only issue I see right now is that it's kind of light on the volume side.
Yeah, it's
But
Yeah.
but DJ Johnny Papa Vegas.
Yeah.
Um, Trendsetter. So what I would say is volume is kind of light now. However, what happens when Shogun comes?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I got my Shogun ponytail in, you know.
Hell yeah, dude. Rock that.
What happens when Shogun comes? What happens when they make a farm
Multi-chain
for it? What happens when you guys are burning X28 and buying
right.
X20?
And 19 other protocols use it as an input.
I mean, you're gonna see a lot
Volume's
of
gonna-
volume on there.
Volume's going to tick up quite heavily. So what you could do is get a position now, as opposed to waiting. You can get in now, get your range, kind of play around with your range a little bit,
and just compound.
and just compound everything. Are you going to make $1 million? You will not. However, this is one of those ones where you're playing for the long game, right? You're setting yourself up for what is to come. You're being proactive. You're not being reactive. That would be my
Let
2
me-
cents.
Put it this way.
Mm.
X28 is Titan X. Titan X is X28. The value
See.
of it for creation is always 1-to-1.
See?
So if you just want to hold it and you put it in this pairing in a tight range, you're kind of making free money.
See.
Verdad.
That's
Just
verdad.
saying. Just saying. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah. It is. That's exactly right, though. No, you're 100% right, because eventually, when we see all these protocols coming in, we got the R bots doing their thing. It's just going to be almost like LPing with USDC DAI. Every once in a while, it'll kind of click up and click down, right? That's how, if you've ever LP'd
That's a
with
great way
stable
to-
coins.
That's
If
perfect.
you've ever LP'd with stable coins, that's so much fun, by the way. So much fun. It just does nothing. But
Go on vacation.
That is
LP with
so
stable
exciting.
coins.
Fact.
Bear market strategy, not a bull market strategy. So anywho, but it's basically like you're going to be LPing with stable coins. Pretty much is what it's gonna come down to. I think it's gonna be the safest LP to be in, because one coin isn't just going to shoot up and leave you stranded on an island like maybe Titan X Wrapped ETH, right?
It
So-
would be a very good way to start your learning about LP, as that is your very first pair, as the safest way to get in.
And here's something else to think about.
Okay.
I can almost guarantee you the $392,000 in liquidity, a good solid chunk of that, I have to imagine, I'm not looking at it right now on Revert or anything, but I have to imagine a good solid chunk of that 392 is pretty tight. So the more, this is almost one of those instances where you want to have the liquidity, a liquidity wall and a barrier trapping that price, because you don't want it to go this, you don't want it to
exactly.
do that, right? You want it to stay even. So this is going to be one of those protocols where every other video you've ever heard me say is stay away from degen ranges. This is exactly where you would use a degen range, but it's not degen on this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the same. So you're going to you're helping trap the price, right? So yeah, you can think about it that way too.
Yeah, great question, Ali. And you're a valued member of the Titans of LP chat, so I appreciate you
Jesus
coming
Christ,
in
you want
on
to
that.
kiss his ass? Even Jesus, just ask a question.
Just saying.
Thank you so much. You are a valued member. Did you read that on the back of a napkin?
Did this guy make a corporate donation or something? What the?
Again,
He's,
brought to you
he's
by-
standing here with me. He comes in. I'm like, this is Alex.
This kisses you really gently on the cheek.
I just
He's like,
No,
I
but
paid
that,
for this.
that was an
Make
absolutely
sure-
fantastic question. That was a fantastic question, Ali. Thank you so much. That was a very good question for real. I'm just giving Nathan a bunch of shit.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
What else we got? Yeah.
All
Oh, we
right,
got the
guys.
same question twice.
Ask
Huh.
last chance to ask some questions. When you burn the tank, will those burn numbers show up on the Titan X farm website
Oh,
under
that
their
now
burn?
that is a good question. I have a feeling that we're going to have to be tracking that ourselves, and that's where
We
we
will.
would ask someone like Mike Dean to help. I see a dog tail wagging through your.
Yeah, he's trying to dox.
But yeah,
like, is
I
it
think we're
Mike
gonna have to. I think that's going to be our own stat. And I don't know if Eric wants to or would be interested in like creating something additional on the Titan Farms website just to track that. But you know, if it becomes substantial enough, and some of our numbers that we've ran where we're like going like ridiculous, like burning like 20K in Tink every 1.5 weeks, then maybe I don't know. But yeah, we'll make sure everybody gets links to that once.
I mean, at
anything
some
available.
point, maybe that's a expansion of Mike Dean's Titan X Hub.
I would
stats
think.
that starts in incorporate, because we're going to have a lot of stuff here that certain individual trackers can only keep track of, and you'll have to kind of combine them all into one site so we can get them all. Like, for instance, your individual buy and burn contract will have its own individual numbers. Farms will have its own individual burn numbers. If it's a V2 or a V3, that sort of stuff.
And I'm also like, how many miners are we creating? How much money are we giving to the stakers? How much money are we feeding? How much hype are we feeding to the Vortex, which is an indirect buy and burn, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stats.
So,
but
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you could track that would be kind of interesting to know, at least for me.
I'm sure between the community and whenever Jake hops on the next stream and asks you to add a stat, because he does that like every time. He's like, you know what? Add this stat. That's good. And then everyone's like, oh yeah, I never even thought about that. Like, I feel like he's done that on every protocol. So he'll come on yours when you have all your stats done perfectly, and he'll be like, you should add this stat too. And he'll be like, damn it, we're gonna add that one too. But yeah, and then I would imagine that we have an aggregate giant stats collector for everything in the system, because we are getting to that point where there's a lot of different avenues, and now we're all not just burning Titan X, we're burning individual protocols. We're going to start burning X28, so it's going to definitely get wild. If you guys want to help Mike Dean, you can subscribe to his Titan X Hub Premium, and we can start the campaign of make Mike Dean retire.
Yes,
and then maybe he can start hiring some people to help out, and then we can get these stats pages updated.
That's right.
Fast.
Also build on Hyper Protocol. Mike Dean. Shout out Mike Dean. Shout out Matrix.
Absolutely. And double shout out to Mike Dean, because I think some people don't quite understand that everything that we do here in Titan X is a community-led effort. Everything Mike Dean has done, that's something that an individual community member has done on his own time since the very beginning, and worked on it and expanded it and given it out to everybody. So sometimes people are like, Mike Dean needs to do this, or Mike Dean should do that. And
no, he doesn't.
Maybe hold your horses. Maybe number one, try and do it yourself. Number two, thank him for all the hard work that he's done. And let's be patient sometimes on
a lot
whether
of hard
features
work,
get there. On whether features get there in the time period that we want them to. So I'm sure we'll all get there, and I know you weren't getting at that, but I'm sure we're going to get everything that we want here as we move forward. But help the man out, help him retire, help him hire some assistants. Sign up for Titan X Hub Premium. I'm telling you, I'm not lying to you, I'm not exaggerating. It is all the information that you really want to make the best decisions on these protocols. And he's adding new protocols all the time. But like, if you want the best information to play Hydra, you want Titan X Hub Premium. If you want the best, information to play future Titan X mining when that starts up, you're going to want the Titan X Premium. Do you want to start hyper miners? Premium. I'm telling you.
And don't even try asking someone who has Titan X Hub Premium for the answers, because if you had to pay to do it, you're not going to give the information away for free. So
I'm gonna gatekeep the shit out of that.
we all are. We all are. You
Yeah.
know, A, it's respectful to Mike Dean, but B, like if
You're ahead
if,
of the game.
If you pay for something, that's your information. Why would
Yeah.
I want you to front run me? You go ahead and get it yourself so you can front run someone else.
Mm-hmm.
We're all gonna front run the shit out of each other. That's what it's gonna be. I'm just kidding.
Next token, front run.
Front run.
Front run, nuke. Got it.
I want a nuke protocol. Damn it! Don't
Dude.
give that out. I do that. I'm telling you.
Nuke.
We're gonna nuke the X28 supply. How about that?
Yeah.
Nuke.
Well, just wait, Mo, because it's like when you have our builder mentality and ethos going multi-chain, and you start seeing protocols that bring buy and burns into, like, I don't know, base, for example, that could get crazy pretty quick.
Ready?
You know,
Tactical nuke. That one goes to base.
there you go.
Mm, tactical
Thinking here.
nuke.
Tactical
Tactical
nuke
nice.
goes to base.
Nice.
Okay.
Tactical nuke.
ICBM. That's going to Binance because I don't know what the hell goes on Binance.
I know.
Yeah,
Nobody
ICBM goes to
knows.
Binance, or ICBM probably goes to ETH because we're starting on ETH.
Right.
SLBM goes to Binance, or we can start calling them out and be like the Minuteman, the Peacemaker, you know,
The
Trident.
Peacemaker.
you know.
Nice.
The daisy cutters or whatever they are.
Mhm. Yeah, there you go. Man, daisy cutters. That's funny as hell. I love that you know daisy cutters.
Am I
When
right?
when the first Gulf War came out, my dad like he got us a computer and all that. And I barely remember this, but I remember he was obsessed that there was the Gulf War files got leaked. And so as soon as he found that out, he was like, I gotta learn about this internet thing. And he was never on the computer, but as soon as that happened, he was on there and he downloaded like 3,000 of these Gulf War files, and he's just clicking through them and clicking through them. And I swear to God, you know what he was looking for? Because I remember asking him specifically, I was like, what are you looking for? He like, are you just looking at all of them? He's like, no, I'm trying to see if we use any daisy cutters to clear minefields in Desert Storm.
Oh
It was just
man.
This just random idea he had because we used them to clear forests in Vietnam. He's like, I bet you we use them to clear some minefields in the first Gulf War. And guess what? We fucking did. And I was like, no
Wow.
shit. Oh man,
That's
it took
crazy.
me 10 years to find that out, but yeah, daisy cutters dropping fuel air explosives in the middle of the desert to clear a minefield, let the tanks move through. That'll work. It's
America.
expensive. That'll work. Yeah, America.
It's
Like,
like freedom.
"Hey, a minefield. How do we get rid of it? Well, we could clear them one by one, or how about we drop the biggest fucking bomb we have? How do we do that too? Let's just do that.
The biggest one we have without it being a nuke, right?
Yeah, exactly. I tell you, speaking of the biggest bomb ever at the time, I was telling you guys this earlier. My grandpa was there for the very first hydrogen bomb going off. It was called Ivy Mike. And I found out about this when I was a little kid. I was watching a little nuclear bomb go off on the internet or something. And he like popped in to like tell me to turn down the computer because it was too loud. He's always like, it's noisy in here. So he
Like, oh,
comes in.
by the way, I
That
saw
sounds
that
about
in
right.
person.
He's like, hey, turn it down. It's too loud in here. And I was like, sorry, I'm watching nuclear bombs because I'm a
He's
crazy
like, you know
boy."
who was holding the camera? Me.
No, he looks over and he goes, yeah, I saw one of those once. And starts to walk out. And I was like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, I saw one when I was in the Navy. It was after Korea. And I was like, okay,
Do you
tell me more.
want to talk about it?
And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I had a certificate, but my first wife threw it out. So I don't know. It's like, it was a nuke. They're all the same. I'm like, no, they're not. This is,
They're all the same.
I got really obsessed
What have you
about this.
seen?
Yeah. And I was like, well, like, do you know when it was? Do you know where it was? And he was like, somewhere in the Pacific. I'm like, that's not helping me. Like, I need narrow this down. Like when was it? And he was like, I don't know, 1951, 52. Like September, October, November. And so we started narrowing down all the nuclear tests in those years. And sure enough, he was at the Ivy Mike test, sitting on a ship. And as he says it, they called him up. He went up, they gave him these glasses, and he's got his glasses on. They all turn their backs, and boom, they see a big flash. And he says, you see the guy in front of you? he shows up as a skeleton in your glasses
What?
because your glasses are
Whoa.
totally blacked out, but the X-rays from the nuclear bomb go through everybody. And so it shows up like an X-ray.
Yeah.
And at that point, the flash is over, and you take your goggles down, you turn around, and this
And
is
everyone is
over the
skeletons.
horizon.
Literally, dude.
And over the horizon, this mushroom cloud starts rising. It goes up to 100,000 feet. It's, about 60 miles, it's like 60 miles wide, and
Yeah.
they're right underneath the edge of it.
America, back-to-back World War champs, baby. Let's go.
And I was like, well, so what happened? And he was like, I went back to work. I was like, fucking it. This guy
I
was
went
not
back to
impressed by-
work.
He's not
That's what-
impressed by anything.
Had to swab
Like-
the poop deck.
Goddamn hydrogen bomb. He's a radar operator. He's like, no, I went
That's
back down to the radar
gnarly,
machine.
dude.
Like, I don't care. It was whatever. I was like,
Fucking
you saw
just
the first hydrogen bomb ever. And he's like, okay. That's
If you said so.
yeah. I'm like, that's
Cool.
a huge deal. He's like, well, whatever.
I love our disrespect for the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
We're
Well,
just gonna launch some nukes, just test it out, you know.
we detonated a lot of shit in the Pacific.
I
Man,
know.
a lot of shit. My favorite was in the early 90s. Actually, the French hit there is kind of the story on nuclear bombs. If you don't know it, is you make a nuclear warhead, it goes bad. Like nuclear stuff degrades. The radiation, that's it decaying. So eventually that nuclear warhead won't detonate because it's decayed too much. So you have to make new warheads over and over and over. And so eventually you're making them with these new designs that back before supercomputers, well, you had to set it off to make sure this new design would work. And so that's why 50 years of nuclear testing went. It pushed it underwater and underground, but we still did it well into the 90s. And the French were the last ones to do it, like out of like the sort of the main block of NATO in the West. And I think it was like down in the Indian Ocean, maybe the Pacific, but they were going to detonate these, and Greenpeace kept sailing their boats over the detonation zones, and they were getting pissed off, and they kept trying to use their destroyers to like ram the ships out of the way so they could just set off one last.
Not
nuke
recommended.
Like,
Not recommended.
2, 1 more.
you know, generals were like, just set it off. Like, what's the big deal? It's 40 people on Greenpeace. It's like, what's it's not our country? Like, you know,
Oh, fucking Greenpeace. Oh. Sorry if I offended you if you're
Oh
French.
no! Yeah, the ocean is very deep.
yeah, it is very deep. Very deep. Oh my god, that actually reminds me of the best story ever. I'm going to derail this slightly further because
Yeah,
this
let's
is
go.
an
Keep it
amazing
going,
story.
bud.
Come on,
Keep
it
we're gonna be
So-
we're gonna be disappearing Boeing airplanes.
No. This isn't.
Yeah.
This. No one's getting demonetized again. First off, I can only get demonetized once. But no, this isn't. This isn't like a crazy rabbit hole. This is just a wild story. So after World War II, the 2 nukes that were dropped, we didn't have any left. Like we made 3 of them. We detonated one in Trinity, and that one went up. The Trinity bomb went off in Alamogordo, Mexico, and that was a copy of the Fat Man. The
Okay.
little boy was a completely different design. We had no idea if it was going to work or not, and so we basically had enough to make 3 devices. We made a copy of one of them, tested it. All right, we know for sure that one will work. So at least that one's going to work. So we tried one. Oh, okay. Thank God the other one worked. Now we detonate the other one. That works. Now we're having nuclear bombs. So that's it. We don't have any more. So we spend 2 more years making basically the material to make another couple nuclear bombs. And now we're going to enter the testing era. And so we're like, all right, let's find out what happens when a nuclear bomb is used in a naval environment. And so we take a bunch of old ships that we don't want anymore. And we're going to decommission, and we drop a nuclear bomb on top of them, basically out in the middle of the ocean. And so it
that would
does.
have been awesome to watch.
It does its own thing, and it's called Shot Able. You can look this up. Nuclear Shot Able. And it's not a very impressive nuclear blast. Like it just kind of happens, and the water kind of seemingly dissipates a lot of it because you realize that it needs to pull up material to create the mushroom cloud. So if it's detonating over the water, there's not a lot to pull up. So like a flash, a little tiny mushroom cloud, whatever, not a lot happens. So the next test, they're going to detonate this thing 100 feet underwater.
Oh.
And they have 3 tests lined up: above the water, 100 feet underwater, and then like 1,000 feet underwater. And so
Whoa.
the second test is Shot Baker. And they set this thing off, and it goes off 100 feet over the water. And Shot Baker
Wait,
is
over the water or
most
under the water?
under the water. So just 100
Okay.
feet under the water. So like right in
Okay.
the middle of the ocean, we set this thing off, same size as Hiroshima. This thing is enormous what it does. It
Really?
sucks up all the ocean around it. It all shoots straight up, and then it comes crashing down. So all the ships that didn't sink all get knocked over almost, like, you know, with the water all now coming back down. It's an
Whoa.
enormous impact. It's so big that in 1946, the scientists look at the next shot, which is going to be 1,000 feet underwater, and they go, "Is this going to knock a hole in the bottom of the ocean?"
Oh
And they
God.
call it off.
Yeah.
They call it off because they're like, this just blew our minds so bad. We're going to knock a hole in the bottom of the ocean. That was a legitimate concern of these nuclear scientists, that they called this thing off. And it was like maybe 4 years later that they all ran the numbers and they did the science, and they were 100% convinced. All right, you can't knock a hole in the bottom of the ocean. Turns out we've run the math. And even if we did, this isn't going to do it. So let's go ahead and do the test. And so it's like 1,000 feet underwater, and they're all like fucking cringing and crossing their fingers. And it's like 3, 2, 1, brrr, and you look out in the ocean, and like 2 seconds later, just a little circle just appears on the water, and it gets foamy, and then it settles down.
Wait, dude.
Nothing else.
We
Sitting there being like, I thought it was going to knock a hole in the bottom of the ocean. Like, what?
just a bunch of people booing. Boo.
So, I always thought of that. I was like, man, my grandpa was lucky. He saw the hydrogen bomb. But then even then, he still wasn't impressed by that. Like, he probably had that reaction of that as if he was on that one, just being like, nah, this sucks. I don't care. I'm going back to work. So it was kind of funny, but the first couple of nuclear bombs we set off scared the shit out of everyone. They thought it was going to blow a hole in the bottom of the ocean, and then it did absolutely nothing.
Mm.
It made an air bubble thousands of feet under the water.
They ruined a couple whales' days. That's about it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm sure it fucked up the hearing of a lot of animals, but in terms of what it did in the area, nothing.
Right.
Just didn't do it.
Man.
All the ships over, it shook them a little bit, and they were like, that was it. We waited 4 years to do this. Anyway, that's my sidetrack and derailing of this episode. That should last me months. That was such a derailing. But I got into all that stuff. As soon as I found out my grandpa saw one of those things, I was like, I'm going to be as interested as you should be.
Forced interest. I love it.
And to the day he died, he couldn't have cared less. Every time I tried to tell him about learn, he'd be like, yeah, okay. Well, whatever. Cowboys are on. Just,
Cowboys are on. Yeah. That's funny.
That was amazing. All right, guys, I talked long enough. Let me have you talk for a little bit. Send us off with some final words, some thoughts on the protocol, the crypto, life in general, your dog. I don't know. Talk about your kids, anything you want. Johnny, let you start.
All right. Well, thanks for having us. First of all, it's always a pleasure. Love talking about warp. Love talking about nukes. Love talking about nuke and warp. I just hope that everyone that watches these streams gets a little bit of just a little couple of nuggets here and there, right? We do these all the time. Mo does these almost every day, sometimes 18 times a day. Take a couple of nuggets with you, right? Something to think about is we're going into the bull run. There's going to be a lot of things coming out. You do not have to ape into every single thing that comes out. That includes warp. Okay. You will have a second chance on almost everything. So do not feel that you need to take your hard-earned money and just chuck it into something right now. Okay. My advice is to just play it cool, buy something that you're convicted in, hold it, and do not touch it. Put it in a wallet that is not connected to Uniswap. Put it in a wallet that is not connected to any of these dApps, and just let it sit there. You will do yourself a favor. That's all I have. Johnny out.
I was chucking money. Don't tell me what to do, Johnny.
You're not the boss of me.
But obviously we are super excited to provide an opportunity for people to utilize their hard-earned money, right? And hopefully put it towards something that will get you some really crazy great returns. So, but that is not financial advice. But we want to make it fun for everybody, and we're doing the best that we can to deliver a quality product that is tried, tested, and trustable, right? If that is trust, it's the warpness. We're bringing that to everybody. It's going to have its own ness, so, but yeah, we're just super excited to be here, be doing this. And once we get to launch this thing into the wild, it is going to be a pretty crazy ride. And our intention here is to have that be just the beginning of everything that's to come, especially now that Jake is enabling us to go multi-chain. So we will see what comes from our mind. Nukes. Sending out tactical nukes from the Titan-X ecosystem into every other chain out there, burning these supply of whatever we want. Right?
Say goodbye to Miggles.
Yes, you thought you thought Miggles had a huge supply. No, it doesn't.
Oh my god. Guys, I love having you on. You guys are always welcome. Anytime I ever throw that link in the streamer chat, please come on. Show whatever you want. Come in,
need
ask
to not
questions,
or
change the subject, do anything. Yeah,
I should just hop in from my cell phone wherever I am, But
yeah, man, go for it. Do it. Anything. I don't care. By all means. You guys are always welcome. It's hilarious. You guys are, you guys are beyond community members, beyond OGs. You're people who've been helping this community throughout with the Titans of LP. So it's awesome to see this protocol launched, and it's beyond exciting what you're doing. All the little aspects of it. I love the 2-hour degen window with the tink at the end. I can't wait to see where it's going to go. So like I said, you always have the invite anytime I'm on. I don't care what I'm talking about. Come on, change the subject. I change the subject on you enough that it doesn't matter what I'm talking about. You can come on and do anything you want. So thank you guys. I appreciate you very much. Everyone, I hope you all have a good rest of your weekend. And, don't go blowing your tink somewhere because you might need it someday. Like the 2-hour window to degen.
Come play with your tink with us.
Save your tink. You're going to need it.
I like blowing your tink is a new one. That's good.
Don't blow my tink. Just make sure you only blow your tink.
Shrey.
We're all gonna retire. We're all gonna retire on tink. We're just.
I'm just gonna cut this off. I'm sorry. Guys, have a good day. Take care. Save your tink.